Welcome to the May 2023 committee meetings of Dubbo Regional Council. I advise that Council is now web streaming its standing committee and council meetings live to the internet, and as such all those present should refrain from making any defamatory statements. Your attendance at this meeting is your acceptance of the conditions that your image may be recorded and streamed to the internet, as well as retained in the archive of the recorded council meetings and standing committee meetings. I now open the May 2023 Infrastructure Planning and Environment Committee meetings, the time being 5:32 p.m. First of all, we'll have acknowledgement of country from Councillor Burns.
Thank you, Councillor Black. Sorry. I'd like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people who are the traditional custodians of the land. I would also like to pay respect to the elders past, present and emerging of the Wiradjuri Nation and extend that respect to other Aboriginal people from other nations who are present. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Burns. Item IPEC 23/13 is the leave of absence. First item, we've received an apology from Councillors Chowdhury and Councillor Etheridge. Can I please have someone move that the apology from Councillors Chowdhury and Etheridge be accepted? Councillor Burns, and seconded by Councillor Wells, and seconded by Councillor Burns. Sorry. Any questions or debate, councillors? There being none, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried. The next item is item IPEC 23/14, conflicts of interest. Does anyone have any conflicts of interest to declare? I do. In item IPEC 23/16, bus service improvements in Dubbo 16 Cities program. It's a non-pecuniary, less than significant interest in that there will be an amendment to convert an existing timed bus stop to a full-time bus zone outside Dubbo Christian School, where I am employed as a school teacher, and I will stay in the room for that item. Item IPEC 22/21, building summary, April 2023. Can I please have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Director, Development and Environment? Councillor Mann, seconded by Councillor Wright. Councillor Mann, do you wish to speak to that motion? Thank you. Any questions or debate, councillors? There being none, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried. Item IPEC 23/16, bus service improvements in Dubbo 16 Cities program. Can I please have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Senior Traffic Engineer? Moved Councillor Goff, seconded by Councillor Burns. I'll just like to declare my conflict of interest again in this item. It's a non-pecuniary, less than significant interest, as there's a potential change to convert an existing timed bus stop to a full-time bus zone outside Dubbo Christian School, where I'm employed as a school teacher, and I'll stay in the room. The mover, was that Councillor Goff? Would you like to speak to that motion?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other councillors? Debate, questions? Councillor Wright.
Thanks, Councillor Black. Just a question with respect to, I know there's been a bit of community consultation here. There's still opportunity for the community, if they do have issues with the placement of some of these actual stops, to come back to council or to Transport for New South Wales?
To the CEO.
I'll pass it on to Director of Infrastructure, Mr. Ryan.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, these ones that are up in the council report tonight in the committee's report tonight, have been through the consultation process, which has involved the people most affected, where bus stops and bus zones are being placed. This has been run by Transport for New South Wales. There are still a couple that aren't in this report where there's been issues raised by whether it be residents or businesses, and they're still working through that, but I don't see why anyone affected by this still can't raise issues with Transport for New South
Thank you. Councillor Wright.
And just a follow-up from that, I note that the recommendation here suggests that council approval be granted. Just some clarity, I know there's been a lot of consultation here again, but am I right in understanding that Transport for New South Wales have the final say with respect to these particular bus stops, not necessarily council as such? If the final approval is to Transport New South Wales, would that be right?
The CEO.
I might take the initial. At this point in time, there hasn't, it is by negotiation and consultation with council, so we haven't come to an impasse where my road traffic authority is bigger than your road traffic authority. So at this point in time, it's more collaborative, and as the Director of Infrastructure, Mr Ryan, pointed out, ones that are controversial or causing angst with direct neighbours, they're still a work in progress with Transport for New South Wales. So pending on those outcomes, we may have a different view to Transport New South Wales, and that may then become a point of powers as a road authority. There are many of them, if not most of them, are on our local roads, so we do have say as an authority. Ideally, we don't get to the point where we have to brush up against each other's regulatory powers.
Councillor Wright.
No, thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Ivey, I note.
Yes, thank you, Mr Chair. Is that, I can hear it. Thank you, Mr Chair. Yes, I was going to raise a similar question to Councillor Wright. I must admit I'm confused about what the role of what our role is in this whole process. I mean, if, for instance, just hypothetically, and I know this is not the case, that if we say, no, we disapprove with where those 70 of those bus stops are going, the 35 of them are in the wrong place, do we have any say over that whatsoever? In which case, really is the wording of this motion that the council approval be granted. Is that really the right wording, or are we really saying we concur with, or we are happy to support the recommendations of Transport New South Wales? Because as I understand it, ultimately they have the overriding say.
Thank you, Councillor Ivey. I'll pass that to the CEO.
So should you disagree with the recommendation, councillors do have the power to put that back to the local traffic committee, where council, Transport for New South Wales, police and what have you, would have to consider council's views that way. So there is that power in that regard, so they wouldn't be approved, but you would send them back for further consideration at the local traffic committee.
Councillor Ivey, any further?
On mute, Councillor Ivey.
Sorry, yeah, only
got you
that
now.
just that I question that wording that the council approval be granted. That really what approval means, that we have to say and we say yes, but that's not really what the situation is it?
Oh, CEO.
In this case, I think that is an apt. You are approving the recommendations from the local traffic committee. Should you disagree, or should you seek further information, you can alter that motion. I think in this case, we're not pushing up against the regulatory powers and the differential between us as a local traffic authority with our local roads and Transport for New South Wales as an overarching traffic authority. I take your point. It's probably not relevant for this particular report, but it may come up, for example, where those more controversial bus stops, bus zones are being raised by community members with Transport.
Any further, Councillor Ivey?
No, thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillors, any further? Oh, Councillor Wells.
Thank you, Councillor Black. I just think that it's an opportunity for, right at this 16 communities thing, project, it's an opportunity for Dubbo to say that it's worthwhile exploring using the Opal cards for people rather than them saying that that's not necessary. Given that they're used widely in the metropolitan areas, I would encourage Transport for New South Wales to have a think about the use of Opal cards.
Thank you, Councillor Wells. Would you like to move that as an amendment?
Councillor Back, I don't think that it needs an amendment. It was just me, I suppose, voicing the opportunity for it to influence Transport New South Wales. If that's not, if I should, I'm happy to take some advice.
Maybe CEO, do you have any comment on that?
I mean, what you could do is that have an amendment that council staff make representations for Transport for New South Wales to have an Opal card type solution for paying for bus transport. So that could be an outcome that we take away as homework whilst you're endorsing where the bus stops are. You then provide direction, once resolved by council when they adopt the minutes, for council staff to go away and take that forward officially. So I don't see any problems with an amendment like that. From a formal direction, we hear you as staff, so we can take that forward informally as well, but it depends on your appetite and formality.
Councillor Wells?
Thank you, Councillor Back. Look, happy to go with informal. I don't want to sort of make things a bit more difficult as they are now. I take, I suppose, I understand that in the metropolitan areas at the moment that they are reducing the Opal cards and encouraging people to use their tap with their cards, but it's just another option that we should explore. So happy to do informal and flagging that simply. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wells. Councillor Ivey, I note again.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman. Can I just say that I actually disagree with the idea of going with an Opal card. I think, in actual fact, the Opal card was introduced at a time when the universality, if you like, of credit cards wasn't what it is now, and there are really no advantages of an Opal card over a credit card. I think it would be a retrospective step to say that they should introduce an Opal card.
Thank you, Councillor Ivey. Councillor Wells?
Taking Councillor Ivey's point on board, I think I understand that they're useful for adults who have key cards or credit cards. Many children don't have those things, and that's where Opal cards can be beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wells. Any other comments, councillors? I do note that I'll make a quick comment on the way past then. I do note that this is a really good initiative for Dubbo, and some of the things that we heard this evening should be really good in improving public transport around the city. And I also do note that efforts are being made to, I can see that there's bus stops outside people's residential houses. Some people might not suit. I could understand that, and it was encouraging to hear that some discussions have been had between Transport for New South Wales and the residents to try and alleviate those concerns and issues and find alternative bus stops. All right then, I'll put that. Councillor Goff, you've got a right to reply to any of that, if you'd like to exercise it.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Let's put that then. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried. Could I just confirm, Councillor Ivey, that you're against that? A bit of a delay on the...
Yes, correct, Mr. Chairman. I just opposed it because I think the wording isn't quite right.
Yep, that's all right, thank you. We just got a bit of a delay on the audio-visual link. Next item for consideration in the Infrastructure, Planning and Environment Committee, IPEC 23/17 and IPEC 23/18. They're both confidential. Can I please have someone move a motion to defer these items to be dealt with in confidential after the conclusion of the Corporate Services Committee? Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Wright. Thank you. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried unanimously. So it's been moved to deal with the confidential items after Corporate Services Committee, and I declare the Infrastructure, Planning and Environment Committee meeting closed, the time being 5:45 p.m. Thank you.
I now open the May 2023 Culture and Community Committee meeting, time being 5:56 p.m. Item CCC 23/28, leave of absence. I have apologies from Councillor Chowdhury and Councillor Etheridge. Can I have someone move that? Councillor Wright, second by Councillor Mann. Any questions or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 23/29, conflicts of interest. As there's no conflicts to declare, I'll move on. Item CCC 23/30, report of the Villages Committee, meeting on the 15th of February. Can I have someone move the Villages Committee be noted? Councillor Ivey, second by Councillor Wells. Councillor Ivey, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 23/31, report of the Sister City Committee meeting on the 18th of April. Can I have someone move the Sister City Committee meeting? Councillor Burns, second by Councillor Wright. Councillor Burns, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. CCC 23/32, report of the Social Justice Advisory Committee, meeting on the 18th of April. Can I have someone move the report? Councillor Wells, second by Councillor Burns. Councillor Wells, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, please, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make mention that we're trying every efforts to some really good work coming out of the Social Justice Committee around bringing together some people, key stakeholders around the and if Director Craig allows me to speak to it, is we're trying to get the New South Wales or the local police and other stakeholders together to speak about or to start workshopping the very, very much needed crime prevention strategy for the local government area of Dubbo, Wellington. Really important piece of work for us to do, and we need some investment from our stakeholders. So just a call out for people listening, we need to get this moving. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wells. Any other questions or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. I just assumed. Item CCC 23/33, report of the Reconciliation Action Plan Working Group, meeting on the 26th of April. Can I have someone move the report? Councillor Burns, second by Councillor Wells. Councillor Burns, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just briefly, we're still waiting on a response from Reconciliation Australia, but so we did have a meeting a couple of weeks ago, but because we hadn't heard back from them at that point, there was no point going on with the meeting. So we had a discussion and then we decided to meet after we get the response from Reconciliation Australia, which should be soon. That's about it.
Thank you. Any other questions or debate? Councillor Ivey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through to Councillor Burns, what is the response, or what are they responding to, or what are the issues that are still outstanding? Can that just be explained reasonably simply? Where's it?
I can honestly say that I don't think that can be explained simply, because we're still waiting for a response from Reconciliation Australia, and who is it, Jane? Should I ask you any? I'll go through the CEO, but until we get the response from Reconciliation Australia over the first initial is the reflection reconciliation action plan, and I think there's 4 of them all up, and this is the first one. So they're still going over what we've sent them, and we don't know what workload they got. So we're just waiting to hear back from them to find out whether or not they're going to approve it. So we've put stuff in the first reconciliation action plan, and it's mostly in reflect send it to Reconciliation Australia, and hopefully that'll pass their requirements for the Reflect Reconciliation Action Plan. And then once we've got that one, we can tidy it up, put it together, release it, and then work on the second one. Because it's a course.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 23/34, report of the Youth Council meeting on the 2nd of May. Can I have someone move that? Councillor Wells, second by Councillor Burns. Councillor Wells, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just briefly, look, the Youth Council is plodding along. We've had some, unfortunately, sometimes we can't get people attending, but we have gone back out for more expressions of interest to get some interest from some more young people, which we have, and I think we had a new person last week when we met, and I believe we've got a few more coming through. Or am I thinking of a different committee? But it's important to, keep the youth, the opportunity there for them to speak to what their needs are for this community. We know that some of the people in that committee will probably age out before the end of the term, and then so we need to replace them on the committee, so we've got the voices. The other thing is, a couple of weeks, was it last week or the week before, was Youth Week, and there was a very successful Youth Week event held in, I don't know the name of the park, sorry, but it was over near the AFL Oval in Gibb Street, and the feedback I've heard so far, it was really successful. Lots of services turning up, and hoping for it to be bigger and better next year.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions or debate? Right. All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 23/35, report of the Public Spaces Tree Committee meeting on the 3rd of May. Can I have someone move the report?
So moved.
Councillor Dickerson, second by Councillor Burns. Mayor Dickerson, would you like to speak to the motion?
I thank you.
Any other questions or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 23/36, the New South Wales Touch Junior State Cup, the event report. Can I have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Manager of Regional Events? Councillor Wells, second by Councillor Burns. Councillor Wells, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, please, Madam Chair. Look, this report is talking about the way forward, but I suppose it's just an opportunity to reiterate the success of the carnival that was held here in February this year, and we know that the size of it is, we don't necessarily have accommodation. Hopefully we can get better at that going forward. But I just wanted to, I suppose, sort of leaning out to community again to say this is such a great event for families and kids from as young as 7 up through until 17, going into their their adulthood, can participate at a social level in a competition, but also a very elite level. And I know that this report's not talking about the actual event, it talks about how we're going to try and secure it going forward. But I just wanted to give it a shout out again for a great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wells. Councillor Wright.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Just a comment, I noticed there on the one page of the report, it talks about some of the issues raised by stakeholders, and one of them, which frustratingly I find is echoed regularly, that some local suppliers either weren't aware of the event or not prepared for the scale of the event. I certainly hope the first part of that, being not aware of the event itself, might change next year. I know we've got had a slightly shorter lead-up time to the event that we hosted this year, so we've got 12 months to to sort of sound the bells, I suppose, and make sure everyone in the community is aware. And I think, especially a lot of business owners, I think it's their jobs and their own responsibility to be aware of what's happening so that they can prep their businesses for what's to come. So certainly hope that everyone gets on board and everyone's certainly aware of the benefits that come with an event of this scale.
Thank you. Any other discussions or debate? I have a comment. Councillor Ivey first.
Only just, thank you, Madam Chair. Just on the issue of going forward, where we say that the expenses of the regional council supporting the event may be the $85,000 a year. I understand from our earlier discussions that includes in-kind contributions of staff, plus perhaps some outsourcing of services. And again, I noted that the Mayor asked if perhaps we could get a little bit more clarification or a breakdown on that 85,000, because I would very much support his request that happen, because I think $85,000 sounds a lot, but put in context and also put it some more information about what it's being spent on, I think would help alleviate any concerns that the community may have.
Thank you, Councillor Ivey. Any other comments or debate? Councillor Black.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I note in the report the $85,000 and some of that being in kind, so not all in cash, but anything that can be done to offset that with sponsorship would be fantastic. And I also note there in the report that one of the bits of feedback was possible price gouging to do with the accommodation. I know that there was an awful lot of people came to Dubbo, and lots of Dubbo people also played or participated in the event, which is really good use of council money to help out the residents in that, so they don't have to travel, etc. Huge following in town, touch. But I see that some price gouging about the accommodation prices. It'd be disappointing if that was the case, since council is trying to promote Dubbo and bring events to Dubbo, and that would just leave a sour taste in the mouth of many of the participants and really work against what council is trying to do by attracting these sort of events. So I'd hope that that doesn't occur in the future, and it'd be a positive way forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or debate? Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry, I wasn't sure I could ask again. Or really just making a comment in terms of the report. When you read through the commentary and the social media and the feedback, it's really positive. And for people to say things like, such as, bring it back again, it was the best State Cup ever. That's really positive feedback. So I think we should, be proud of that. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to make comment after Councillor Wright's comments about businesses not being aware. As a business owner and someone who participated in the event, how did you not know? I just feel, become a partner with council and you will get all the information. I think the staff did an exceptional job. They were out at businesses over at Wellington and all throughout Dubbo, handing out posters. There were posters on every shop front. You did not know. So please, if you want the information that's on hand, become a partner with council, because it's just a big benefit to your business. But the staff did a great job from everything. So any other questions or debate? All right. All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. CCC 23/37, the event attraction Bowls New South Wales State Championships. Councillor Dickerson is proposing an alternative motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would propose that the motion be that council provide financial assistance in the amount of $25,000 in 2024, 2026 and 2028 to host the state championships as per the request from Bowls New South Wales. That's point one. Point two, council supports the Bowls New South Wales State Championship event and encourages visitation to the Dubbo region.
Can I have someone second? Yeah, Councillor Burns. Councillor Dickerson, would you like to speak to your motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Looking through the information that's been presented to us, this is a very good opportunity for council and Dubbo in general to really show off what it can do. We really showed or put our best foot forward with the New South Wales Touch Junior State Cup. And I think this is another opportunity to appeal to a different demographic. A whole range of people play bowls, but there are probably more older people that play bowls more than the younger people that would have participated in New South Wales Touch. Having that demographic come to Dubbo and experience the wonderful community that we've got over 13 days, 1,700 people, I think the economic injection estimated at $1.8 million, but I would expect that the average $235 per night that we use for those calculations will probably be higher with this demographic because they've probably got a slightly higher disposable income. $25,000 is still a lot of cash to hand out. I don't love the idea of handing that out, but I think if we work within our community, we might be able to offset some of that amount. But I think we should send a very positive message to Bowls New South Wales that they're going and doing something different. They're taking this outside the metropolitan area. 128 years they've been running these championships, and typically they're held in a metropolitan area. So to gain this 3 events over the next 5 years, I think would be excellent for Dubbo. And I think if we can get it below that $25,000, it'll be a great investment for Dubbo.
Thank you. Any other questions or debate? Councillor Ivey?
I will support the motion, Madam Chair. The only thing I wondered a little bit about in the briefing earlier, we did talk about including perhaps something in the motion that said that where we do support Bowls New South Wales to come, we would actively also see whether some of that $25,000 cash injection can be offset either by Bowls New South Wales accepting a slightly lesser figure, or some contributions from some of the bowling organisations in the region, or obtaining some sponsorship from other outside organisations that would help defray that cost. So, as I say, while I do support the motion, I just would like to see that we will actively pursue those options of reducing that cost.
Is that did you want to add that to Councillor Dickinson's amendment? Or put an amendment?
Well, okay, I will ask Councillor Dickinson if he would include as a third point that a rephrasing of what I just said, that while the council does support it and is willing to do it, we would also actively look at, and we would like to actively look at reducing our cost if we can.
Councillor Dickinson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wouldn't support that. What I would prefer to do, given the fact this is a recommendation only to our council meeting in 2 weeks' time, I'd prefer the official recommendation be as it is, allowing us to go back to Bowls New South Wales to show the strong support we've got. Meanwhile, over the next 2 weeks, our staff and myself can work on some of those points that Councillor Ivey's put forward. It might end up being a different motion when we come back to council in 2 weeks' time, but the first point I want to take back to Bowls New South Wales is a very positive, strong intent about getting the event here.
Okay. Councillor Ivey?
No, I'm very, very happy with that statement. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Thank you.
Councillor Black?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I'm a big fan of the lawn bowls, have been for many years, and I think this will be a good thing for Dubbo if we can get this. I would also expect, though, that the clubs who are hosting the events in Dubbo, the lawn bowls clubs, would come on board with some sponsorship to defray that cost to council and the community, considering that they'll sell an awful lot of drinks and other paraphernalia, food, etc. at that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Black. Any other comments or debate? So we're voting on the alternative motion. All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 23/38, the River Repair Bus Ozfish Funding Review. Can I have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Manager of Recreation and Open Spaces? Councillor Burns, second by Councillor Wright. Councillor Burns, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Any other questions or debate? Councillor Black?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very interesting report, and I think that I've spoken to, or people in Ozfish, River Repair Bus, have spoken a lot to me over the last 18 months or so about some of the work they do, and also to local river care groups, land care groups that look after sections of the river and do a good job planting trees and watering them and weeding around those trees and those sort of things. And I think that the work that they do is vital work to beautify our riverine areas, the riparian zone, and I think as a council there is an opportunity here to partner with an organisation at some level, some greater level, and then also work in with the volunteers that come along, because if the volunteers, we can get them, then we're not having to pay council workers to do that work, and we can really multiply any money that we do put into an organisation such as this. So in the next couple of weeks and before the budget comes out, I will be speaking to the Ozfish River Repair Bus organisation and some of the other ones to see what can possibly be done to get them to some sort of agreement with council on work that can be provided and funding, and if they can source some funding themselves from other sponsors and maybe council chip in a little bit, because anything we do along the river really does have a multiplier effect in beautifying the city. And that's not just Dubbo, there's also, I note in the previous agreement, work to be done down there in the along Wellington, the two rivers there, where the rivers meet, Wellington, and it can only be good for the community. Thank you.
Any other comments or debate? All right. All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 23/39, Macquarie Regional Library Performance Report, January to March. Can I have someone move the recommendation of the report of the manager of Macquarie Regional Library? Councillor Wells, second by Councillor Mann. Councillor Wells, would you like to speak to your motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments or debate? Councillor Wright.
The report does note a number of activities that the library undertakes, and I think there's still a bit of a misconception out there that a library is just to go and hire some books that you might take home and read, and obviously the libraries around the region offer significantly more than that. I've noticed there's a number of courses and activities that they undertake both inside and outside school holidays. So yeah, again, just encouraging the community to have a look at the program that is on offer through the library or the libraries throughout the region, and get on board. So it's just not all about reading books anymore. So.
Thank you. Any other comments or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. There are no further items for consideration of the Culture and Community Committee, and I declare the meeting closed, the time being 6:09 p.m.
I now open the May 2023 Corporate Services Committee meeting. Time is 6:10 p.m. First item, CSC 2317, leave of absence. I have an apology from Councillor Chowdhury and Councillor Etheridge. Can I please have someone move the apology from Councillor Chowdhury and Councillor Etheridge be accepted, please? Councillor Goff, seconded Councillor Wright. Any questions or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CSC 23/18, conflicts of interest. I know there are no conflicts of interest being declared. We move along. Item CSC 23/19, the monthly reporting snapshot for councillors. Can I please have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Chief Executive Officer? Councillor Black, seconded Councillor Wright. Councillor Black, would you like to speak to the motion? Any questions or debate, councillors? No? I'll put that vote. All those in favour? Against? We declare that carried. Item C, SC 23/20, investment under Section 625 of the Local Government Act, April 2023. Can I please have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Director of Organisational Performance? Councillor Wright, seconded Councillor Black. Councillor Wright, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Mr Chair.
Any questions or debate, councillors? If not, we'll put that vote. All those in favour? Against? And we'll declare that carried. Next two items have been deferred to be dealt with in the confidential session. Under Section 10A of the Local Government Act, items being IPC EC 23/17 and IPEC 23/18 have been identified as likely to be discussed in a closed session of council. Can I now have someone move us into the confidential session to deal with the confidential items? Councillor Wells, seconded Councillor Burns. We've had no applications from members of the public to make their representations regarding whether the meeting should be closed to the public. Do any members of the public gallery, of which there are none, have any comments to make? Any questions or debate, councillors? All those in favour? Anyone against? We declare that motion carried, and we'll move into a closed session, the time being 6:13 p.m. Council returned to open session at 6:21 p.m. Welcome back. I now ask the Manager of Corporate Governance to read the resolutions from the confidential session.
IPEC 23/17, quotation for supply and delivery of one 32,000 to 45,000 kg landfill compactor. One, that the quotation from GCM Enviro to supply one Tenor H320 landfill compactor fitted with Carlson GPS compaction system for the price of $920,650, exclusive of GST, be approved. Two, that the plant number 719, a Tenor E260 landfill compactor, be traded into GCM Enviro for $120,000, exclusive of GST, for a changeover of $800,650, exclusive of GST. Three, that all documentation in relation to this matter remain confidential to council. Four, that all documentation in relation to this matter be signed under the common seal of council. Item IPEC 23/18, procurement for design of River Street West Newell Highway intersection. One, that the contract for the River Street West Stage 1 design of intersection with future Newell Highway be awarded to Jacobs Group Australia Proprietary Limited in accordance with Local Government Act 1993, Section 55, subsection 3, in the amount of $391,325, inclusive of GST. Two, that council delegate the Chief Executive Officer to approve the extension options for this contract if required. Three, that council delegate the Chief Executive Officer to approve contract variations for this contract subject to budget limitations. Four, that all documentation in relation to this matter remain confidential to council. Five, that all documentation in relation to this matter be signed under the common seal of council.
There are no further items for consideration of the Corporate Services Committee, and I declare the meeting closed, the time being 6:23 p.m. Web streaming has now been completed. Thank you for your attendance.